Me? Like that character on the show with the puppets. Yeah. Like that. Or it reminds me of that one character from The Amazing World of Gumball. Like the wife of... I don't know what his name is. Like the neighbor, like the nasty neighbor, like of Gumball's family. His wife, like she sounds like this. Maybe that is where it was inspired from, because that family is also like puppets. Like the husband and the wife, they are puppets as well, so maybe they took inspiration from that. With the orange hair? I thought I was just one of those greeting kids too. So in order to prove I wasn't a suspicious person, I responded in kind.
Me.
Me.
Me?
Me?
Me.
Me? The girl stared at me dubiously with a doll-like expression. Cute, but cold and hard to read. Well, I wouldn't be surprised. There was, after all, an unfamiliar man right in front of her when she woke up, who responded with me when she said the same. Oh my god. Now I cannot wait to see like Satoko, younger version, and Mion. And I guess Shion too. I don't know if we're gonna get to see Rana, like... You know, sometimes... I don't even know if I wrote like anything about Rena in like past years. Because she moved out and in out of Hinamizawa, so I'm not sure if she's still here? I don't know. Suspicious. Cause these chapters have focused so much on Mion and Satoko and Rika. There is no doubt that the girls have history with the events in the past. But Rena is like the most attached out of all of them when it comes to the things that have happened in Hinamizawa, like the murders and such. Hell, the only thing they can think of is the events that happened at the school like outside Hinamizawa when it comes to Rena. And the hospital and such. And like moving in and out. But other than that, I don't remember writing like any details about Rena when it comes to the protest or anything like that. Unless I'm mistaken and I'm forgetting something, so I don't know. Either way. Me? She definitely thought I was suspicious.
Me.
Me.
Me?
Me?
Mm.
No? We were both at a loss for words. No, the only one lost was me. And the girl in front of me, as if inquiring about my motives, stared at me intently. In the silence, I felt like I was the one who had to say something first. Damn it. This girl was way better at interrogating somebody than no issues.
怪しいものじゃないんだ。私は。
ニパー。
ニパー。
ニパ？
ニパー? What I could have only described as a cold expression suddenly blossomed into a smile, one that soon infected me. You might be familiar with the term angelic smile. To me, it was like that phrase was created just to describe the smile she gave me. She's adorable. Look at her. The girl was smiling while saying "Nipa." Probably wanted me to return the favor in kind. That's right. This was a kid's form of communication. Having the other person emulate what you just did was a rudimentary form of mutual understanding.
Nipa.
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 Nipa. It was a beautiful afternoon in the early summer. What was I doing? Nipa?
Nipa.
Nipa. Well, whatever. This was interesting in its own way. Also, yeah, I'm thinking that when it comes to the mysterious girl that I mentioned at the beginning of this is gonna be a Rika-centered chapter, isn't it? Like, a part of me was thinking, okay, so we're gonna be doing like a origin story, well, not origin story, but rather a past, like the past of Hinamizawa kind of chapter in 1978. So I was thinking that we're mostly going to be focusing on Akasaka. So I was thinking how we're going to be doing, like, if we're ever going to have like a Rika-centered chapter or something like that, but I think we will. It's just that we're going to be doing a Rika chapter in 1978, not 1983. Interesting. You know, there is something that one of my viewers has mentioned, interesting enough, about chapter 4 is that it's in similar fashion to Yumineko episode 4, like before ending the question arcs, where we're dealing with something outside of the present time. Except in Yumineko's case, we're dealing with the future, like Angie's future, whereas here we're dealing with the past. It's pretty interesting. If making somebody happy with just a smile is the work of angels, then this girl was definitely one of them. I couldn't help but pray that my own child, who was soon to be born, will grow up to be like this girl. Such a cutie patootie. That strangely gentle moment was finally brought to the end by the arrival of a car. If I were to have a baby girl, I'd love for her to be just like you. And the older person waved at me from the driver's seat. A dry smile plastered on their face.
Domo, konnichiwa.
Hello?
遅れて申し訳ないことです。昨日お電話くださった観光の方ですかね。
Oh. Okay, so you are our guide.
あ、はい。
お待たせして申し訳ねえ。いや、野良でちょいと遅れましてね。したらと、天気もまんた崩れそうだから、ちゃけちゃけご案内しますよ。
Alright.
天気ですか？
ああ、ここいらは崩れると早いよ。今日も夕立になるかもな。そうなったら、あんた写真さ撮るところじゃなくなるでしょ。ほら、乗って乗って。
Alright. But wait, what about... Imagine if Rika actually just disappeared right now while we were talking with this guy.
Me.
Oh no, she's still there. You're still there, you little munchkin. Get over here, I wanna pinch your cheeks. Turning around, the girl was standing right behind me with an intrigued expression. Her body language somehow reminded me of a stray cat that followed you around after you play with it alone. So charming.
あれ、リカちゃまじゃねえですか。ありがたや、ありがたや。
A girl named Rika with an immaculate smile, and an old man praising her while rubbing prayer beads in his hands. It was a rather mysterious sight to behold. Yeah. Like, not to mention that this is before the Shinto priest died. Even right now, the people of Hinamizawa would look at Rika, like, with prayers and such. I mean, there's also like that whole thing that Mio Takano mentioned about the 8th generation being Oyashiro. That they're thinking that maybe Rika is the next Oyashiro and such. So, yeah, looking at Rika with prayers and such, not a surprise, even before the Shinto priest died. So the girl turns her face at me, tilting her head low in a cutesy manner. After saying that, the elder introduces me as a tourist who came to sightsee Hinamizawa.
村を観光したい若者なのです。
She can actually talk! Okay, so she isn't just a mise in pause right now. Even though I think that she was repeating what the old man was saying. Hold on. Wait, what? A young gun who came to the village for sightseeing. Wasn't it something that the old person said as well? Your per Okay, I think that was just me. I thought that she was repeating exactly what the old person was saying, but apparently not.
まあね。この村の自然がとても貴重だと聞いたんで、ぜひカメラに収めたいと思ったんだよ。私はこう見えても、とっても写真撮影が好きでね。
富武2号なのです。
What?
富武？
Tomitake?
牧野、
え？牧野？
僕も一緒に行ってはいけませんですか？
そんな、レイカちゃまが来ても面白いことなんか何もないですよ。
Tomitake Mark II. Okay, so Tomitake actually visited Hinamizawa even during this year's. Well, I guess it makes sense, kinda. If he is connected to all this stuff as well, then it is possible. Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, it's not entirely new. He even visited even right now, and even before this.
レカちゃまは境内でマリ遊びでもしててくださいな。
Yeah. A distinctly displeased expression creeped across Rika-chan's face. Being able to show one's emotions honestly on their faces was a privilege young children had.
もしお差し支えなければ、この子も連れて行ってあげてください。
Yes! When I said those helpful words, another smile spread across Rika-chan's face with another nipa. She clung to me again. Not bad at all. I don't want this girl to call me Papa. No, Father, Dad, Daddy. What am I doing? You are in your own paradise there, little buddy. You tapped into the role that Rena usually inhabits. Inhabits? That usually visits. Although I wouldn't be surprised if she actually inhabits that role as well. Ever since I met this girl, I was completely off my game. Just calm down.
勝てなあかんと。レイカちゃまはダメだ言うても聞かんしな。知ったらんと、己くだせ。さ、レイカちゃまも。
The old man descended from the driver's seat and opened up the sliding door of the van, which had Onigafuchi Alliance Town Council stenciled on the side. Rika-chan brushed me aside, dove into a seat, and began bouncing around right away. Oh. It seemed like she was thoroughly enjoying the bouncy springs.
かんれ、レイカちゃま。そんじゃお客人が座れねえですよ。だな、こら、レイカちゃま。
Nah, just let her do, I think. Old man. Oh, girls are nice. I wonder if my child will play around like this too. I hope so too. No. It was written that guide to raising a child that you shouldn't dote on them. Kids are kids. If you don't raise them strictly without spoiling them.
ふかふかでバインバインでニパ
ニパー。
Nipa. I'm never going to be a terrible father. It was decided I would be a doting parent before my child was even born.
そんじゃお客さん、風景の綺麗そうなとこで適当にご案内しますよ。
Agasaka is definitely the shy kind of person and all that. It's Yukie who is a bit more out there. Who has a bit of a strong personality a little bit. So I'm not gonna be surprised if Yukie would be the strict kind of parent as well. In a good way, not in a bad way, of course. Like the kind that would know how to discipline your child if things go too much.
お昼は食べましたかいね?
I don't know about Akasaka though.
ええ、
Like he has to learn how to be a parent as well in the future.
ホテルで軽食を。
そんですか。では、参りましょうかね。
行くぞ。
ひなみざわ観光に出発なのですよ。わーいなのです。
君は、リカちゃんでいいのかい？
そうなのですよ。フルでリカと言いますです。もう繰り上がりの足し算とかもできますですよ。
Good for you, man. Good for you. That's actually pretty impressive.
ああ、それは、すごいな。
お指とかは折ってませんですよ。ちゃんと暗算でできますですよ。
Ooh. That's actually pretty impressive. Wow. You are way ahead of the other children, Rika. The way she insisted upon that was just too cute. At some point, the nervousness I had about being alone in enemy territory had evaporated, like it was never there at all. Like, what is it called in English? So addition is plus. Subtraction, there you go, subtraction is what I said in English. Like, you're gonna be able to do subtraction in no time at all. And multiplications too. You become a genius! I had to be at least a little thankful that I met this girl.
じゃあ、出発しましょうかいね。ひなみざわ大自然ウォッチング。
Aye! The old man stepped on the gas with a great deal of gusto. Oh. This song. There you are! Yeah, little munchkin. This is fantastic. This is the best thing ever. Also, this song definitely reminds me of my favorite little cozy show, like Moomin, like the 90s version. It surely gives off that the Moomin vibe with the song. The old man, who was apparently named Makino. Was he the same Makino that was listed as the auditor of the Onikafuchi Guardians? Let me check, cause it definitely sounded familiar too. But not sure if it was just because of the listing or because of other stuff. Let me see. Onikafuchi Guardians. Yeah, I wrote that the auditor is Makino. Did I write like something else? Let me see. Let me check the name Makino if I wrote it somewhere else. No. Let's go back here. Yeah, so he is like a part of the alliance. Showed me around places that were all breathtaking. Even though I wasn't really here for sightseeing, I couldn't help but be impressed. Like, he is definitely like the driver of that bus. Like, if the alliance needs like some transportation for like the members specifically, they would definitely use that bus specifically. First of all, this was definitely different from the simple scenery of a city. The scenery of a charming village like this, no matter how mundane it seemed to the village, no matter how mundane it seemed to the villagers, had a tranquil appeal to it. At first I was only releasing the shutter as part of my tourist act. But midway through I found myself taking pictures out of pure interest. Tourist traps had their own unique allure to them, but it was nothing like that here. I was especially captivated by the unspoiled nature of the place. If there wasn't that old uproar over the dam, I would want to bring Yuki with me here some other time. Yeah, for sure. I wanted her to breathe in this fresh air, as well as show her this rejuvenating verdant scenery.
こんなのが面白いのですか？
What is it, Rika?
赤坂は変な人なのです。
Oh.
いや、こういう円筒状の郵便ポストなんて今はとても貴重だよ。どことなく漂うノスタルジックな雰囲気は渋いと思わないかな。
Cylindrical mailboxes? Let me search. Are they talking about those red kinda cylindrical mailboxes that are planted on the ground? Yeah, there you go. Like it remind, like it's very London-esque. Like it's very British. I get the feeling that that's where those kinds of mailboxes came from British. If not, I don't know. Like you can definitely hide inside them, that's for sure.
ひなみざわは楽しいですか？
Yeah, it definitely is fun with you around, Rika.
まあ、楽しいよ。退院したら、ぜひ家内を連れてもう一度来たいよ。その時には生まれている子供も一緒にね。今は出産を控えて入院しているんだ。予定日がもうすぐでね。君みたいな可愛い女の子だといいんだけど。
お客さんはもうすぐおめでたですかいね。そんないけねえよ。奥さん惚れ出してこんなとこに遊びに来てちゃ。
Oof, that is definitely not a good image, to be quite honest. Like, we cannot let them know that we are on a mission, which would be justifiable for us to go in the first place. Hell, even Yukiya would agree that we should go. But if they are to see us as just tourists, then that definitely sounds bad. Like, maybe we should say like, oh, our wife is just like 2 months in or something like that. Maybe that's more acceptable. For us to go on a tourism like at the 9th month, that would actually be pretty bad. that would actually make you look bad there, Akasuka. So I was momentarily at a loss for words. It was exactly how Makino said. There was no good reason for a man who was waiting for his wife to give birth to be playing around idly in this place. Yeah. Did I slip up?
まあ、ひなみ沢への旅行は前々からの予定だったんで、妻の家族が付き添ってくれているから大丈夫だし。
そんなに前から予定してたんなら、もしかめ間に合わんとかいね。いや、そんだったらこんな窮屈な思いさせんと綺麗な観光バスで回れたのね。
If we were to say that we cancelled because of the birth, but decided that we could go instead, I feel like we're complicating things. Because if we were to say that we cancelled, then they're definitely gonna check to see if we actually cancelled before. And that would be pretty bad. It didn't seem as if Makino was actually digging for anything. But if this conversation continued any longer, it would put some unexpected holes in my cover. I halted the conversation by pretending to take another picture.
んざ、最後の一番景色のいいとこさ案内しましょうかね。
Slightly before evening, the sun was still burning brightly, but a cool breeze had begun to mix itself into the air. Damn it. I want to see Satoko in baby form. I want to see Satoko younger version, and Mion. And possibly Rena too, if possible. It's in my exploration of Hinamizawa with Rika-chan was just about done.
一番景色のいいところですか？
The place with the best view? I can definitely think of one.
そんなリカちゃま、境内からの景色さを置いて他にはありませんやね。
For sure. Hearing that, Rika-chan smiled even more.
では、赤坂を僕のお家へご招待なのです。
Oh boy!
リカちゃんのお家って、
神社ですよ。古で神社。高台にありましてね。景色さ見られるんですよ。
古で神社。
The girl who called Furude Shrine her home, Rika. If I remember correctly, her full name was Rika Furude. Yeah, you're connecting the dots there. And Furude was... Oh, that's right. One of the three families. Even if the Sonozaki family is said to hold all the actual power, it was still one of the old houses that held some authority. No, more important than that right now was Furude's Shrine. If I remember correctly, Oishi had told me, within the grounds of the Furude Shrine, there were the offices of the Onikafuchi Guardians. And since the land around Furude Shrine were private property, the players couldn't set foot there heedlessly. Could we use Rika to get there? Furude Shrine, where even Oishi couldn't simply set foot into. I mean, are we seriously gonna be able to get into the Furude Shrine grounds like that easily as a tourist? I guess we could. Like, the police definitely couldn't. We can, as long as we're in a tour right now. I don't know how much we're gonna get out of this though. The main base of operations for the Onikafuchi Guardians. We definitely can take some pictures. We definitely can take some pictures of the locations of, like, the buildings and such, where the Alliance do their meetings and such. At least that would be pretty good, at least, to take some pictures. I've been given the unexpected opportunity to enter there. I couldn't have asked for more.
楽しみです。ぜひお願いします。
じゃあ、酒々参りましょうかね。いや、天気も少し怪しいですからな。
The sky had suddenly become overcast. It wouldn't be odd if it started raining soon. The cicadas, as if trying to finish their daily allotment of chirps before the evening, cried out even more fervently. The van stopped in the shrine's parking lot. Also parked there were numerous other vans with loudspeakers mounted on top of them to act as makeshift propaganda vehicles. On the side of each vehicle was scrawled, "The dam project must be demolished. Defend our homeland to the last. No Yoshiro-sama's anger." Or a slogan of a similar kind. They gave the feeling that even without using the loudspeakers, there was enough to overwhelm any onlookers. Vertical banners were erected in various places. The contents of those banners were similar. They were all objects against the dam, or crude insults towards the government. There were horizontal banners, placards, and so on and so forth. They proclaimed that without a doubt, this was the headquarters of the Onikafuchi Guardians. Alright. For Rika-chan, however, this hectic place was also her home.
着きましたのですよ。
Hey.
ただいまなのです。
Rika-chan crawled over my lap and exited the vehicle first. Oh. Yeah. Makino had noticed that I was looking at protest banners.
神社はダム反対運動の事務所も兼ねてましてね。こんな風景もあんたらには反安保闘争みてえで懐かしいでしょ。
Student movements against government policies, movements that bordered on terrorist activity, were at one time commonplace, if only in order to garner global attention. Students holding out in lecture halls, brawling with the riot squads that charged in. It was an age where wasting one's youth like that was widely considered a road to glory. It was slightly before my time.
私は別に活動家ではありませんので、普通に学び、普通に卒業しました。
Good. Very good.
国の政策にあのような暴力や立てこもりで対抗しようというのには、私は同意できません。
はあ、あんた、それはそれで 立派な意見さお持ちだね。
政策に意見したかったら、同じ意見の政治家に投票するか、自ら政治の世界に飛び込み、正当な手続きを持って意見を主張するべきであると思っています。それが民主政治の原点です。それに、暴力で挑戦するなど、あってはならないと思います。
For a young gun, he has some fine beliefs. I saw that feeling of respect reflected in Makino's gaze. At the moment, something tugged at my sleeve. Yes, Rika-chan?
赤坂が何を言っているのか全然わからないのですよ。
Oh, no, don't you worry, you little munchkin. You're gonna learn in the future. It's just like adult talk right over here. Rika-chan, feeling like she was the only one who didn't understand the conversation, had the look of displeasure on her face. That expression was so charming, I had to keep myself from grinning like an idiot. It's often said that a father wants to spoil his daughter rotten. I think I understood that feeling very well.
ごめんね。リカちゃんには難しい話だったね。日本は平和の国だから、自分の言いたいことは平和的に訴えなきゃいけない。
Like, you gotta think about it this way, little Rika-chan. You love playing with the other kids, right? Like, having fun together and all that. I mean, that's basically what we're talking about right over here. For the entirety of Japan to have fun together in a peaceful manner. And that is what we all wish. And not just Japan, but the rest of the world as well. It is something that we're all struggling with, but it is something that we're striving to work towards.
暴力で訴えてはいけないということさ。
No matter how much I explained, a girl who was just boasting about being able to carry digits over when adding things probably wouldn't understand. Yeah. Probably wasn't something to talk about in front of Rika-chan anyway.
では赤坂、僕たちの村はどうやったらダムに沈まなくなるのですか？
Oh. A very interesting question there. Even if I regretted my perilous words, it was too late now. Here I was, at the main headquarters of an organization, telling them their way of doing things was illegal. Preaching that violence was not the answer. A complicated feeling had mixed itself in with respect in Makino's gaze. It was then I finally realized it wasn't that simple. There wasn't a soul who would argue that what I was saying wasn't correct. Using violence to get one's way was something that everybody knew you shouldn't be proud of. However, right now, Hinamizawa was in a predicament that couldn't be overcome with peaceful means alone. True. I mean, I did say that peace is something that we're striving to work towards. But I didn't say that it was easy. Hell, if it was easy, then this would have been accomplished like a long time ago. If we were talking about my current times, then I'd say that it is definitely better than like the first years of the 20th century, what with the wars that happened, but well, at the end of the day, some wars are still happening even right now during current times, sadly. So we are making steps in the right direction, but there are still some steps that are taken backwards from time to time, and all we could do is try our best to take even more steps forward. The legality of the Hinamizawa Dam project, for the efforts of the various propaganda campaigns enacted by the Onigafuchi Guardians, was being called into question. If they further strengthened their campaign, they might be able to suspend or change the construction plans. But that was at most just a possibility. If the government proceeded with the construction as planned, it wouldn't be long before this place was at the bottom of the lake. If it wasn't for the unrestrained resistance of the residents of Hinamizawa, this place might already have been underwater.
僕たちはここでしか生きていけないのです。 都会では生きていけないのです。
The words of this remarkably young girl were all too accurate, carrying with them the screams of the hearts and minds of the residents of Hinamizawa. Oh. And you know, like a poor little soul, like you shouldn't be thinking about this stuff, but you're right, like, these are harsh times. It even affects someone like you, Rika, so it is good to be strong. It is good to keep yourself strong. Of course, there was nothing I could say to respond to that. I can only respond to Makino and Rika-chan's heavy words and foot silence.
すみません。よそ者が気安く言えるような問題ではなかったですね。
Yeah, true.
謝罪します。
Makino, unsure of how to reply for a moment, could only laugh pointlessly.
お客人たちのようなよそに住んでる方々には関係ねえことです。ひなみざわさん気に入ってくださったんなら、お客人のお友達みんなにもひなみざわさん素晴らしいところだって宣伝してください。
Yeah, we sure will. Eventually.
さあいうのが何十年何百年と広がっていけば、この村さダム底に沈めるなんてふざけた計画もやがてはつえるんですかね。
Like, I like to think that after this entire adventure ends, things are gonna become peaceful, like after 1983. And that after that point, we will be able to live peacefully here, if we had the choice. Like, if I were to retire as a detective, and we will be able to solve, like, whatever is happening here in Hinamizawa, this will definitely be a good place for me to be in, for sure. If all that would have smelled that sad, please don't think much of it. Makino, letting me not worry that much really was a stroke of good fortune. Becoming infatuated with the idea of making friends with a little girl had made me completely forget my apprehension at being in enemy territory. Being reminded of this right before I was going to step foot into their headquarters might have been a good thing. We had this exchange in the middle of their office. If there was a short-tempered youth in there, they might have come at me. Thinking of how extreme they were, in worst case, my life could have been in danger. It seemed that I looked quite despondent at that moment. Makino, thinking he had said something wrong, became flustered trying to think of a way to improve my mood.
本当に軽率なことを言いました。
Yeah, maybe we were a bit careless right now.
本当にすみませんでした。
いいえ、そんなにお気にされないでください。
今日案内してもらった村のあちこちは、どこもとても美しく、素晴らしい場所ばかりでした。もう一度来たいと、心底思わされました。そんな美しい村が、ダムの湖底に沈むことになれば、必死の戦いになるのもわかります。
I somehow managed to use my despondent look to change the topic in my favor. After a bit, Makino had returned to his usual high spirits. Isn't he believed I completely sympathized with his point of view?
そうそう。そんな話はこれくらいにしましょう。本当にとても景色さえいいところがあるんです。
行きましょうですよ、赤坂。
行くぞ! Rika-chan, seemingly happy to be free from all the boring and gloomy adult talk, bounded up the stone steps. There was no real need to run, but in order to catch up with her, I also darted up the steps. There were several tents belonging to the town council erected on the shrine grounds. Inside the tents were several folding tables and chairs, and a number of the older town council members were leveling things up with chit-chat. They weren't saying anything incendiary like, "The dam project must be destroyed!" It was just some relaxed out chit-chat between local geezers. The normal sort of calming scenery. the entrance of a shed that looked like a meeting place, there was a large sign erected with Onigafuchi Guardian's headquarters, written in bold brushstrokes. Yeah. And definitely like the meeting building that Mion and Shion had mentioned before. That was their base of operations. To be honest, it was a bit of a letdown. If you ask what I had been imagining, and this is a bit embarrassing, but I thought it would be something much more dramatic. With barbed wire fences and barricades. Maybe like a giant castle or something, I don't know. My first impression of the place, though, was completely different from that. It looked like a simple backwater town hall. It didn't look like anything other than exactly that. The old folks who were chatting had noticed Rika-chan's presence.
Rika-chamaじゃないの。もう子供はお家に帰る時間だよ。
ここは僕のお家なのですよ。
The old folks guffawed, since she wasn't wrong. From that exchange, I could tell that this Rika Fruity girl was loved by everybody.
牧野さん、その人?
Is that Kimiyoshi? Kiichiro Kimiyoshi? The mayor? Oh my.
電話をくれた観光の人は?
そんですよ。こちら村長さんに、HinamizawaのKimiyoshi村長さん。
Aw, man. You look like nothing like I imagined. He smiled brightly, but there was no mistaking he would be scary if he got angry. By the looks of things, this old man was the president of the Onigafuchi Guardians. A quote-unquote president. None other than Kiichiro Kimiyoshi himself.
ようこそHinamizawaへ。いかがでしたか? 静かでゆっくりしたところでしょう。
It definitely is.
ええ。今日一日、美しい場所をいくつも堪能させていただきました。貴重な機会をお与えくださったことを感謝します。
へえ、今時の若い方なのに、また真摯な方だね。うんうん。
喜一郎、赤坂に見晴らしのいいところを案内したいのですよ。
Thinking that the formalities between myself and the mayor had gone on for too long, Rika-chan butted into the conversation. For her to call the mayor by his first name, I felt it was a little strange, but none of the villagers seemed to mind. A girl of the fruitive household, one of the 3 families. She was probably different than the average villager. I mean, I like to think that Kimiyoshi is a good person. Not only because of how she would treat like Mion and Shion like kindly during young age, but also Rika and Satoko. Basically everybody. Whew.
赤坂、こっちなのですよ。
Aye. Rika-chan tugged at my sleeve. Not resisting, I allowed myself to be pulled over. And waiting for me was a magnificent view.
これはすごい。
Like, always coming here, it is always stunning. Like, coming here every single time, it is always stunning to look at this. It was an observation deck that looked down on the village. They, knowing that this was the best view in the entire village, kept quiet as I stood there, awestruck. And I was holding a camera, but I had completely forgotten to even glance through the viewfinder. This view, no matter what kind of film it was printed on, it wouldn't be able to show everything. If there was a way to explain it, it would only be what I would be able to put into words. It was just such a breathtakingly spectacular view that I struggled to find a comparison. For a while, I was left awestruck. I could only stand there and wonder. A cool breeze helped abate the heat rushing through my body.